Gentlemen, the Monsterverse is moving at light speed. While we wait for the second season of Monarch, the waters for the next film, Godzilla x Kong Supernova, are already stirring. Space Godzilla has emerged as an incredibly powerful candidate to lead the enemy forces in the next movie, and all signs point to the fact that we will definitely see him in Supernova. But it's time to break down what's actually true here. What is the root of these latest rumors? Where are these leaks coming from? And why does everything indicate that this will be the biggest Monsterverse event to date? But before we dive into the technical details, let's talk about what actually gets us hyped, the creature that would change everything. The information circulating points towards a titan on a scale we've never seen before in the Monsterverse. The most interesting part is that it doesn't come from the Hollow Earth. Instead, it's a massive luminous entity of a completely extraterrestrial origin. The descriptions that have surfaced are highly detailed. They mention crystalline structures and an extremely powerful energy that shakes the very foundation of everything we know. From my perspective as a 3D artist, handling these crystalline surfaces suggests a brutal technical rendering challenge. We're talking about light refraction and particle management that would elevate the CGI to a level of complexity we haven't seen before in this franchise. This all points directly to a modernized version of Space Godzilla, a herald from space arriving to claim the throne of the Titans. His arrival completely destabilizes the balance that Godzilla and Kong fought so hard to protect, generating a direct conflict with the two alphas in charge of the surface and the Hollow Earth. Furthermore, it's mentioned that there will be significantly more action than in the New Empire, which already tells us the film is aiming for a much higher fight count, and that of course has us all excited. Now, with all this detailed information, the mandatory question arises: how do we know all this if the movie doesn't even have a trailer yet? Well, the answer lies in test screenings. Warner and Legendary gather closed groups of people to watch preliminary cuts of the film, obviously with unfinished visual effects, to gauge reactions and see what the audience thinks of the material. It's understood that these people signed very aggressive non-disclosure agreements, but in the internet age, it's impossible to contain everything. There's always someone talking on Reddit, on 4chan, or contacting the heavy-hitter leakers directly, who, generally speaking, are rarely wrong. The curious thing is that these rumors aren't constant. They appear with a specific rhythm right after a test screening is confirmed, which indicates this isn't random information. It has a very real foundation. But not everything is as simple as it seems. There's a legal wall that Legendary still has to jump over. This is where we enter the territory of the heavy leakers. They indicate that Toho hasn't yet released 100% of the rights for the full commercial use of Space Godzilla, and this is usually a slow and expensive process. However, everything indicates that Legendary and Warner are on the verge of closing the deal. Why are we so sure? Because the project appeared registered under the production code name Zeus on the WGA, the Writers Guild of America website. To put it simply, it's the official registry where writers submit their scripts to protect their work. If it's already listed there, and they are moving such big pieces under that administrative name, it's because they know Space Godzilla is the goose that lays the golden eggs, and they are willing to pay whatever Toho asks. But be careful, because the way we see him on screen might not be what everyone expects at first. Everything seems to be following the tracks of a double event, meaning don't expect to see Space Godzilla fighting at full power 20 minutes in. Leaks from the test screenings show what appears to be a primitive version. It's described as something similar with similar powers, but not yet completely him. This is a strategy similar to what we saw with the evolved state in the previous installment, a necessary transition phase before reaching his definitive form. What has been a constant in reports for over a year is the impact, the arrival of a meteor or a deep space signal that generates global commotion and forces Godzilla and Kong to react to restore order. Therefore, it is presumed that for most of the screen time, we will see that incomplete version, and the final version, the one we all know with the massive crystals on the shoulders, would be revealed toward the end of the film. It's the classic Hollywood move. Give us a taste, leave the hype through the roof, and secure the box office for the following sequel where the confrontation would be total. Now, you guys, what do you think about all this? Is it too early for the Space Godzilla arc, Or is it exactly what the Monsterverse needs to keep from stagnating? I've seen that most of you are very much in favor of his appearance, but some of you tell me you'd rather see it all in one single movie instead of split across several. I would love to read your opinions and theories down below. And remember, if you want to keep receiving unique and interesting content, just hit that subscribe button. I'm Cyber, and this is the CyberZone. See you in the next video.